I'm Cory Weatherton, a Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach. And folks, I'm excited to show you today the brand new 2026 Entegra Coach Odyssey. Now, this is the 30Z floor plan. I say that because when we go on the inside, there's a lot of questions. Hey, what floor plan was that? The Entegra Coach Odyssey 30Z. My goal for today is to show you some of the new upgrades for 2026, but then also just to talk through what makes the Entegra Coach Odyssey the Entegra Coach Odyssey. First of all, we'll start up front. This is on the Ford E450 chassis. It's a great chassis. The industry's been building on it for years. The chassis is the chassis, folks. I can't upsell it at all. It's a great chassis. It's reliable. You remember a few years ago, Ford went to that V8 engine. That engine is doing well for us. Ford reported initially, and it is true, you'll get a little bit better fuel economy. Also, you pick up a little bit more power with this V8 engine. So it's a good engine. Now it's tried and true that we're a few years into it. It's great. But what's not normal for this E450 chassis is at Entegra Coach, everything we build, we put a ride and handling package on it. Our goal is to be the quietest riding, best handling coach at each price point. And the reason we do that is because, quite frankly, folks, this is a lot of money. The Entegra Coach Odyssey, we have an Odyssey SE, which is a base trim level, all the way up to the Accolade XL. Folks, we build a lot of stuff here at Entegra Coach, and we know that your hard-earned money, you're probably going to stretch your budget a little bit. And if this doesn't drive well, you may be in the Northeast and you have great aspirations of taking this thing out to Yellowstone. And if it didn't handle well on a couple local trips, it's probably going to stay parked in your driveway and you're going to be at a hotel out at Yellowstone. We want you to use these things. So at every price point, we are putting a ride and handling package on it, and we call it our Easy Drive system. The Easy Drive system on this coach is just the base Easy Drive system. So what you're getting with the Easy Drive system is a computer balanced drive shaft. Now, when we stretch this chassis from Ford, we go from a 2-piece drive shaft to a 3-piece drive shaft. We're the only manufacturer that balances all 3 drive shafts together. Why do we balance all 3 drive shafts together? I guarantee you, you drive one of our competitors' units, you won't experience a shake or shimmy in the drivetrain at all. Guaranteed that. Why? Because if you balance 2, you balance 1, put it together, you're not going to experience that. But what we found here at Entegra Coach, remember quietest riding, is that if we balance all 3 together, we eliminate a lot of white background noise inside of this coach. So how do we put this in layman's terms? Folks, I grew up in northern Indiana, and once in a while, my folks would take us down to vacation in Florida. And my folks told me that if I put a seashell up to my ear, I'm going to hear the ocean. And magically, I put a seashell up to my ear, and doggone it, I think I heard the ocean. But as an adult, you know that's not true. Sound is just accentuated in enclosed spaces. So this box that we put on the E450 chassis is, in a sense, that seashell. We have found that as we do all 3 drive shafts together, we've eliminated a lot of white background noise inside of this coach. So that's the first component of the Easy Drive system. Second component on this Easy Drive system is rubber isolation mounts. Now, a fun fact is when Ford ships us this chassis, it's just a cab with 2 rails coming out the backside. On each rail, there's 8 rubber isolation mounts. Ford puts those on because this chassis is also used in other applications like the ambulance industry. So these rubber isolation mounts, they're designed by Ford to reduce road noise and vibration. And so we are the only manufacturer, that's the fun fact of the day, the only manufacturer that reinstalls those rubber isolation mounts on both sides of our rear axle. Now, every other manufacturer, they do have rubber isolation mounts on this cab. There's one in each corner. So nobody's going to remove the cab, pull those off. Totally understandable. But we are the only ones that put 4 on the rear of this coach. And why do we do that? To reduce that road noise and vibration. And the final component on this standard Easy Drive system is Hellwig helper springs on the rear. Now, Hellwig helper springs have 2 functions. First, they help evenly distribute weight across your chassis. So if you're using the 750-pound tongue capacity of this receiver, it's going to evenly distribute your weight so you're not getting rear heavy. You start to get rear heavy and lift some weight off of these front tires, all of a sudden your steering becomes sloppy and your trailer is determining where you're going. Those Hellwigs help prevent that. The second thing that Hellwigs do is they help to give you stability, left or right rocking, and reducing that. And the reason they're able to do that is because on the rear of this chassis, there are leaf springs. Leaf springs function just like a trampoline. You know, maybe you have some fond memories of the trampoline, jumping on it, that trampoline rebounds you back up and you get height. Leaf springs are designed like a trampoline to where you get maybe a gust of wind from your driver's side, it pushes it this way. This leaf spring absorbs, but it naturally wants to push you up, and it starts a little bit of a rocking. Those Hellwig helper springs help prevent that because we tension them from the chassis, and it helps eliminate some of that rocking. So on this Entegra Coach Odyssey, anything else at this price point, you're getting 3 things that nobody else offers to give you that quietest riding, best handling coach at this price point. So I wanted to point that out as we're talking about the chassis. Next thing I'm pointing out is this one-piece fiberglass front cap. It's very important to point out because there's not a single manufacturer that does this. Now, some manufacturers will say they have a one-piece fiberglass front cap, but theirs will only come about 1/4 of the way back, and then it'll taper up to the top. It's more of an aesthetic look. With Entegra Coach, we cover all the way back to where the full sidewall exists. Now, factually, our sidewall does continue behind this cap. Why do we do this cap? Because it looks good? Well, honestly, it does look good. But that's not the main reason why we do it. Where this bunk platform comes over and meets the sidewall, every other manufacturer has a seam there that's exposed. We have a seam that's hidden. Why do we hide it? Because that is the #1 leak point on a Class C. Now, I can tell you that this front cap, the design, is proprietary to us. The concept of it is not. Anybody could do it if they want to, but shooting straight with you, this is the single most expensive component we put on our Class Cs. It's very costly. Why do we do that? Because we know in the future, unless we cover that seam will leak like every other manufacturer's. We do it because it's the right thing to do. Like I said, we give you the easy drive system because it's the right thing to do. You're spending your money, you better drive this thing. We're giving you this front cap because it's the right thing to do. You're spending your money, we want it to last a while. So this front cap, it's a big deal here at Entegra Coach. Coming back to Coach, you'll also notice the 2+3 warranty. That 2-year limited warranty is twice the industry standard. Everybody else, simple 1-year warranty. But we give you 2 complete camping seasons to be able to utilize this with peace of mind that if anything goes wrong with it, we're standing behind your investment, plus a 3-year structural warranty. So the structure, what is the structure of this coach? Our walls, our roof, and our floors, they're all vacuum bonded. So what that means is we stick them into a vacuum press and we get 144 tons of pressure per square inch for 16 to 18 minutes depending on what component we're laminating. And so we feel very comfortable in our construction of this motorhome simply because we have our own lamination facility. It's temperature and humidity controlled. So if it's wintertime in northern Indiana and it's 2 degrees Fahrenheit and about 2% relative humidity, or if it's 100 in the summer and 100% relative humidity, we're getting the exact same lamination process year round. That's one of the things that makes us unique here at Entegra Coach is we do all of our lamination in-house in a temperature and humidity controlled environment. Also another fun fact, you'll see this window behind me. Beautiful frameless window, which we'll talk about here in a second. Anywhere we do a window cutout in our sidewalls, we will do a delamination test on that cutout. So we put it into a machine and it intentionally delaminates that wall. It's essentially a shredding machine. It pulls it apart. Our goal as we pull that apart is to see all the components shred apart. We don't want a clean separation. If it's a clean separation, it means that the lamination process was flawed and this wall would get scrapped. And I can tell you with confidence, because of our lamination facility, temperature, humidity controlled, we've got the process down. We've been doing that for a very long time now, at least the 9 years since I've been here and even before. We've got our lamination process down. So structurally, that 3-year warranty, a peace of mind, but I can tell you our lamination and our construction process is second to none at Entegra Coach. Now back to this window. On the Entegra Coach Odyssey, you will get these frameless windows. Aesthetically, they look good. They don't have any trim around it. There's no potentials for water leaks, etc. But what I love about these windows is, as I crank them out, they open up, and unless you're getting a monsoon, say you're just getting a sprinkle, you don't have to worry about rushing back from your hike in order to shut your windows. Now, use wisdom here, okay? If you are hiking and it's dumping rain, or maybe the wind's coming at an angle, use wisdom, get back and shut your windows. But one of the benefits of these is there is somewhat of a forgiveness with these, just because of how they open and then the overlap on the sidewall that does exist. So aesthetically they look good. They're also very functional. One thing I do want to point out is this catalytic converter theft deterrent. During COVID, thankfully those days are over, we noticed on a lot of dealers' lots, catalytic converters were getting stolen. And so we implemented right away putting catalytic converter theft deterrents on all of our gas motorhomes. That's very important to us. Why is it? Because like I said, it's the right thing to do, folks. If this is stored beside your pole barn, or maybe even in your unlocked pole barn, and you guys are planning on using it July 4th, and you've not used it since Memorial Day weekend, the last thing you want to do as an owner of this motorhome is go out, turn the key, and find out it sounds like a stock car because somebody stole your catalytic converter. And so as a result, we started putting these on. They're theft deterrents. They're not fail-safes, but they are theft deterrents, and we do that because we want you to use these motorhomes. So I want to point that out to you. With us, that's there again, it's standard. You're not paying for it. We're putting it on there simply because it's the right thing to do. As we come back, you're going to notice new for 2026, a brand new graphic scheme on the outside of this. This is standard for us. We also offer a partial paint option. A partial paint option, you'll get some paint on your front cap, some paint down the side of your coach, but this is standard. It's new for 2026. I think our team did a great job with it. Absolutely beautiful. On the sidewall of this coach, you'll notice that these are premium JBL speakers. Why do I point that out? Because after 6 months of ownership, all of our customers get surveys in the mail. And we ask you, if you're an owner, please fill out that survey. It gives us a lot of helpful feedback. And my team that I work with, engineering, purchasing, production, and even sales, we review these on a monthly basis. We compile all the information and we review these. One of the things that we found was that RVers are just tired of inferior products. I was going to say cheap, but that doesn't sound good. Inferior products. And so one of those that was pointed out was any electronics that we're using. And so when we go inside, you're going to notice that we still use the Sony name brand head unit, both the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Name brand there. JBL here, it's recognizable. It's a premium audio experience. So even on this Odyssey, which our trim levels go in Odyssey SE, the next one up is an Odyssey, and then we go to an Esteem. That's on the E Series chassis. You know, even on this mid-trim level unit, we are giving you premium audio, and I wanted to point that out. As we come back to coach, you will notice that we've passed a storage compartment. Let me pop that open for you. I know a lot of you are interested in seeing those. I'll pop the next one open back here. I'm not going to open that. That's where our propane is. But, you know, the attention to details is a big thing. You know, this little strap here that holds your doors up. A couple reasons why we do that. One, if we did not include this strap and you open this door and just let it flop down, over time that's going to twist the frame of your baggage compartment. And with time, water will leak into there. So one of the reasons why we do it is so that we don't get any distortion or deformation of this baggage door trim ring. But then second, if I'm out here and I'm setting up my awning, setting up camp, and I've got my coffee mug in hand, I can just set my coffee mug there and I can come back to it. It's great miniature tables, if you will, in case you don't have your table out yet or the campgrounds doesn't have a picnic table. Great little tables. You'll notice here in this compartment that we do have an exterior entertainment center. This is a 32-inch smart television. So one of the unique things about the Entegra Coach Odyssey at this price point, in all of our Odysseys, we are giving you an outdoor entertainment center. So you get the smart 32-inch smart TV, you get your JBL premium audio experience as well. Now, before we go any further back on the coach, I want to talk about the roof of this coach simply because I'm not climbing up there and you're not coming with me. First of all, this is a one-piece fiberglass roof that is crowned. It's crowned about 5 inches in the middle. One sheet of fiberglass, fully walkable, and as I already mentioned, it's vacuum bonded, just like our sidewalls and our floors are. On that one-piece fiberglass roof, you will find a standard 15,000 BTU air conditioner in the front, or maybe it's been optioned with dual 13.5s. On the roof, you may find optioned 200 watts of solar. Now, when you get 200 watts of solar, we do have 2 house batteries versus 1 at that point, and it has a dual controller, so it'll charge your house battery and your chassis battery. On the roof, you're also going to find skylights. So I would encourage you as an owner from the factory, I've already mentioned that one-piece fiberglass front cap, we want to protect your investment from water. Like, water is the #1 destroyer of motorhomes or even travel trailers or fifth wheels. And so on the roof, we've done everything we can to make it water impenetrable. We would encourage you to get up a couple times a year and inspect the seals around anything that we've installed up on the roof. Just make sure that lap seal is not cracking, make sure it's not peeling up. What I love about the adhesive that we're using up there, the sealant that we're using, is it's a pour over. And so if by chance it starts to crack in a number of years from now or potentially peels up, I just clean that off and I re-pour over it and it fills everything. So super easy, but really preventative maintenance is going to be your cheapest maintenance. So on the roof, fully walkable fiberglass. You're going to notice our awning has an LED light strip in it to give you that ambiance as you're out here in the evenings or the mornings. Coming back, we have another storage compartment with your low point drain. And like I said, this is our 30Z Odyssey floor plan. One of the glorious things about this floor plan is the massive pass-through here in the rear. And so there is a lot of storage. You'll notice on both sides, it is lower than what it is in the center. I'll show you the center here in a moment, but a great pass-through. You can store a lot of things back here. You know, that folding camp table, or even potentially a kid's bike laying flat, but a lot of options for you back here. So we've taken a look down the side of this coach. We've talked about the roof. Let's go around the back and talk about that. Alrighty, so we're on the rear of this 30Z Odyssey. And as I mentioned, we have 7 different floor plans. If I didn't mention it, I'm mentioning it now. 7 different floor plans in this Odyssey series, and just a number of them that I think you're gonna love, not only because of the price point, but the layout, the quality, the amenities, etc. So on the back of this coach, as I mentioned on the side, the pass-through storage. Let me show you this to start off. Look at this storage back here. There are motion sensing lights back there. Just a lot of room back here. Folks, I'll let you imagine what you can put back here, but you can put a lot of stuff back here. Your rock collection if you want. You know, maybe you've got that rock collection because you love being in the Southwest and they got some cool rocks out there. Fill in the blank with whatever. Also on the rear end of this coach, some things I want to talk about is we do have a third brake light. That's standard with every Entegra coach. Why do we do that? Because if you're towing something and it's obscuring these lower brake lights, we want to make sure that those behind you have adequate stopping time. So we give you a third brake light, part of the safety aspect. Also on this coach, we have a rear camera. It's down here lower, so it is a hitch viewable one. Most other floor plans, we have it up higher. And then also you have side cameras, so when you turn on that turn signal, it's going to illuminate what's down that lane. Now, something special and unique here at Entegra Coach that I want to talk about is our hitch receiver. This is rated at 7,500 pounds with a 750-pound vertical tongue weight limit. So let's put this in everyday lingo at this point. You know, I gave you the facts right there. One of the unique things with Entegra Coach is we are able to keep a 10% ratio between the towing capacity and the tongue weight rating. Why does that matter? Because I can tell you every other manufacturer, Ford rates this at 7,500 pounds, so that's a Ford thing. I know one manufacturer will put an 8,000 pound hitch on there, which folks, you can't safely tow 8,000 pounds with this. Another manufacturer will do 7,500, but on both theirs and then also that 8,000 I mentioned, their vertical tongue weight limit is only 500 pounds. So if you're pulling a 6,000 pound cargo trailer or a 7,000 pound horse trailer, those trailers are designed to have a 10% ratio between the gross vehicle weight rating of that trailer, so that's 7,000 pounds, and the tongue weight of that trailer. So 7,000 pound gross vehicle weight of that trailer, 10% is a 700 pound tongue weight. So with that, Entegra Coach is the only manufacturer that keeps that 10% ratio. How do we do that? I can tell you there's a few things that go into it. First of all, as we stretch this coach, we are adding more steel in the center of that coach. We not only sleeve the OE steel, but we also weld diamond gussets into it. I already mentioned the Hellwig helper springs. Another thing that's unique to Entegra Coach is the Ford C channel that runs the length of the chassis. Every other manufacturer has to do some form of a frame extension in order to build onto the back of the coach. We're the only manufacturer that continues back with that steel C channel the length of the coach. So that is what our receiver, the hitch receiver, is actually mounting to. And then finally, we are horizontally bolting this hitch on. So what does that matter? So if we were to vertically bolt, as other manufacturers will do, you're relying on the thread strength of that bolt to hold the hitch on. We're going horizontally, so we are relying on the tensile strength of that bolt. So I just mentioned 4 things that allow us to keep that 10% ratio so you can safely tow with this. So folks, if you are looking to tow anything that has a tongue weight rating of 500 or above, you'll know that because it's 10% of your GVW of your trailer. Entegra Coach is the only brand that you can safely tow with. So, spent a long time talking about the rear end of the coach. Let's really quickly check out the driver's side storage areas. Alrighty, so here we are on the driver's side. The reason we're over here is because I've run into a lot of you folks at shows, random places across the United States and Canada, and you said, hey, can you show us the driver's side as well? So if you've requested it, I'm giving it to you. But here's a heads up, kind of a public service announcement. If you run into me at a show and you say, hey, can you do this? It doesn't mean I'll always do it, okay? So the request has to be reasonable, and we have to have a large population of you folks wanting it. So on the driver's side, we've got the continuation of the pass-through storage here. We're gonna not take a lot of time over here. As I mentioned, we've got an outdoor shower. Maybe Fufu's out and gets all sandy on the beach. Fufu's your dog if you didn't know. Spray off Fufu's feet and then take it inside, or maybe you wanna shower off after a day of mountain biking or kayaking. We have our city water connection, our black tank flush, and then also our fuel fill here. Down below we have the valves, termination valves for our gray water tank and black holding tank. Coming down further, we've got another storage compartment here. I don't know if you can see, and there's no light. I'm not going to open this. This is where our power, 30 amp power cord goes. We come another step. We've got another storage compartment here, and then top it off, we've got our 4,000 watt Onan generator. So for 2026, the Entegra Coach Odyssey is coming with a fuel injected 4,000 watt Onan generator. Why do I point that out? Because this is compliant in all 50 states and all the provinces. So no longer do we have to worry about jockeying between what we can ship to California and what we can't. It is all the same generator now, a 4,000 watt Onan fuel injected generator. So this has been a complete walk around. In my opinion, it's complete. In yours, it might not be. Let's go inside the coach and check it out. Alrighty, so we are inside the 30Z Entegra Coach Odyssey. And folks, there's a lot to love about this coach. We all have our favorites in the world, don't we? I know everything's subjective, but really, this is my favorite Odyssey floor plan. What I love about it is it just feels very residential. A lot of times when we're building motorhomes, not a lot of times, every time, we have a chassis cab to work around. So say you're purchasing a fifth wheel or a travel trailer, you get a lot of design options as far as, do I want the front to be my main bedroom, the rear to be my main bedroom, etc., etc. With motorhomes, it's different. We're always designing around this chassis with a front overhead bunk. But what I love about this floor plan is it feels very residential. And I have my kitchen area, and then I have my lounging living room area, my bathroom, and then finally my bedroom in the back. But that's beside the point. I'm just kind of showing you my cards that I love this floor plan. One of the things that Entegra Coach we're doing differently is our front overhead bunk, rated at 750 pounds. You know, that's one of the things that allows us to do that 2-year limited warranty when everybody else in the industry is just a 1-year warranty. Because I really think our engineers they over-engineer. What I love about this front overhead bunk area is I mentioned that one-piece fiberglass front cap with that automotive bonded window in the front. At the end of the day, I can put that power shade up and I can look at the stars, or even during the daytime, leaves are changing colors, taking a nap up here, your little kids being able to see the fall foliage and the beauty of that. You'll notice up front here we have a lot of storage area. And we have this mesh compartment that I can put books in or anything. Down below, an open storage area, cup holders on both sides, and then 120 volt and 2 USB outlets. So all of my power needs are in the front of this as well. I have my overhead lights turn on and off. I'm getting ahead of myself. I love this sleeping area just because it is so beneficial. It adds extra living space. Now, maybe I don't have anybody sleeping up there. We do provide, we call them child safety nets, so that kids or adults or nobody rolls out. You could also put that up, and then during the day you could store things up there, and then it's relatively secure because of that child safety net. Now the cab area, one thing I do want to point out is this Sony infotainment system. It is a 10.2 inch Sony, and what I love about it is we switched to this in model year 2025, and it has an anti-glare covering on it, but then also I can swivel it left and right and then also up and down. It is wireless as well. So say I'm using Apple Maps or whatever map feature you use on your phone, the passenger can be holding the phone and doing their own scrolling on Amazon, you're buying something, or even looking at the map. This can be tilted towards the driver, so the driver has the view of the map and the passenger can as well. So as I mentioned, it's a Sony. Earlier I said 10.2, 10.1 inch with a matte covering on it, anti-glare covering. Folks, you're gonna love that. It's very reliable and it has worked well for us. Prior to this 10.1, we were using a smaller 7-inch, great as well. But folks, you're buying an Entegra Coach. You deserve a 10.1, so we went with the bigger screen on that. Inside of this, you will notice that we have changed our wallboard for this year. We have went to a whiter wallboard with some light gray cross hatching in it. Looks a little more residential. You'll notice we changed the flooring in it. And then finally, we changed the overhead cabinet door profile. So you'll be able to see that those look absolutely beautiful. Still oversized to give you less visible styles, but it is beautiful inside of this coach. Now, let's get into some of the features of this Entegra Coach Odyssey. First of all, we have this easy operation legless dinette. What I love about this is I can slide all the way across and there's no knee knockers. I'm a taller individual. Frequently, if I get into a dinette, I bang my knee on it, ruins the next 5 minutes of my life, and then I start to feel better. With this one, 5 minutes of life is not ruined. I sit down and I'm ready to go. It's very comfortable. What I love about it is it's in its lock position. It doesn't slide down at all like the other mechanism that some companies use. But then also, if I want to turn it into a bed, just simply pivot it down, move the cushions, and then I have another sleeping area. So a great feature inside of this coach, easy to latch as well. Coming over to the kitchen area, you'll notice we went with the oversized cabinet drawers on this as well to reduce the visible styles. Not only changed the profile, but actually gave a look to it. Model year 25, these were simply slabs of wood. Now we're actually matching our overhead cabinets, changed the hardware as well, and you'll notice that ample room inside. Now, with Entegra Coach, know that all of our cabinets are pocket screwed and glued. You'd think that'd be common. It's common in the residential industry, but it's not common in the RV industry. I can tell you, I know of a number of motorized brands that rather than pocket screwing these styles and gluing them, they're actually just stapling them. So always feel on the inside. These are a lumber core, so these screws are going into wood, not just MDF, but they are going into wood. You'll notice that we have a wrapped countertop in this, a single basin farmhouse style sink that is ample room for you to be able to fill your pots, and also at the end of the day, some of us don't like doing our dishes at the end of the day. Let's be honest, you want to do them in the morning when you're fresh. A lot of room in there that if you want to leave your evening dishes in there and clean up in the morning, totally room for that. New for this model year, we have changed stoves. This is an Envision stove. What I love about this Envision stove is it's still LP, 3-burner cooktop, but inside the oven portion, there's a lot of room in here. The prior brand of stove we were using, you could maybe make a pizza in there, a little bit more, biscuits maybe, but we have more room inside of this Envision stove just because it's more adjustable, the rack inside. Also, you'll find this residential size microwave. A lot of room to warm up your casserole the next day, so plenty of room in that. You'll notice that this does have a 10 cubic foot 12 volt refrigerator as standard. What I love about this 12 volt refrigerator is if I'm planning on leaving to go camping at noon, I don't have to go out a day before to turn on my refrigerator. I can simply come out 8 a.m. I can turn my refrigerator on, and at that point I put the food in at 11. This refrigerator is cold at that point, so it's very efficient, very quick to start up, and this does run off of your house battery or your shore power. Now I said battery because you do get 2 batteries if you option solar on the roof. However, standard is 1 house battery, so that's why I said battery versus batteries. Absolutely love it. You know, some folks question why don't we do the 2-way refrigerator anymore that runs off of propane or electricity, and that's just simply because one, they're phasing that out, but 2, in this same cavity we would have only gotten an 8 cubic foot, now we get a 10 cubic foot, just simply because there's fewer components on the inside of this. Inside this coach, we do have a 1,000-watt inverter. So going down the road, certain outlets will be powered and others will not. So a 1,000-watt inverter. And then also, this coach has been optioned with dual AC. Standard on the Entegra Coach Odyssey is a 15K up front, but when you option it, you get dual 13.5, so in the front and the rear. Well, one of the things I love about the Odyssey, I already told you that this coach, I love the floor plan. But folks, we have a lot of Odyssey floor plans. I believe we're at 7 right now. And so if this is the sweet spot for you financially, we have a number of floor plans that'll work for you. And so this, as I mentioned, this to me is the more residential. You'll notice that we do have theater seating here in this location with a center cup holders and then also a small storage area. And then directly across from the theater seats, just a massive 50-inch smart television with a fireplace below. Last model year we did change to the JBL premium sound system, and so you have your JBL Aura Cube below your television as well as overhead premium JBL speakers. So you are getting a great sound system inside of this coach, and you don't have to worry about the sound of the video you're watching. Maybe the kids are watching the cartoon of the day or the year, however cartoons work these days. My kids are way beyond that. Or maybe you're watching a Saturday afternoon football game, just premium audio inside of this. So this has been a look at the front of the coach. Let's focus on the back now. Alrighty, so we are facing the rear end of the coach, but I do want to point out the child safety tethers. Where we were filming before, I knew it'd be a little awkward to see, but you'll see in our forward-facing dinettes, we have 2 child safety tethers. Now, these steel brackets are welded down into our seatbelt bracket. So that's going to be one of the unique things with Entegra Coach is safety. With Entegra Coach, everywhere there's a seat, there's a seat belt. And so we have 2 for the driver passenger, 2 for the rear facing dinette, 2 for the forward facing dinette, and 2 here in the theater seats. So folks, we are at 8 seat belts inside of this coach, and all of that comes standard. Why does it come standard? Because quite honestly, it's the right thing to do. Why wouldn't you have a seat belt in every seating position? So each one of our seat belt brackets, if it's a booth dinette like this, it's a dual bracket. We can't just install those wherever we want to install them. We actually have to do a pull test on these brackets. So this bracket that's underneath this seat has to withstand 10,000 pounds of pull for 60 seconds. And so very safe to travel in this. All of your guests, they actually do get a seat belt. So moving back into the main living area, as I already mentioned, your 50-inch television with your fireplace. I love that fireplace because you can either turn the lights on for ambiance, or you can actually turn it on and use the heat strip inside of that, so it'll warm up your coach on those cool faller days. As I mentioned, the JBL Aura Cube as well. A great thing about that is I can run my TV through it, or potentially one of my favorite music streaming apps, and run that into the coach or even on those outside speakers if I would like. As I mentioned, it's more residential. We're leaving the living room area and we're coming back into the bathroom area. So here we do have a pocket door. I'm not going to open it up because then you won't be able to see me. Filming gets a little awkward at that point, but we do have a pocket door here, and then you'll notice just a nice area to be able to store all of your towels, all of your blankets, really anything at all you want to store in here. So just a lot of storage. You'll notice that we do have a functional medicine cabinet here. Use this for anything you'd like, obviously, and then a sink down below. I love that our engineers offset the sink, because really this is a relatively smaller area. They offset it to the right, so I still have countertop space right beside, and you'll notice a GFCI protected outlet on that countertop as well, so you can use your curling iron, blow dryer, or even your corded beard trimmer if you'd like. So didn't want to just go the feminine side, we'll go masculine as well. Come on back and check out this bathroom. I will let you go in there on your own. Inside of that bathroom, you will notice that we do have a very amply sized shower, and then also your porcelain toilet down below. What I love about Entegra Coach is from front to rear of the coach, it's a single flat level. Now this 30Z is unique that we have a platform at the foot of the bed, but with a lot of brands, you're going to find your platform, your step up, on this side of the bathroom. So to step up. We've eliminated that, one, because our goal is to be the quietest riding, best handling coach at each price point. That step on a lot of brands will be a future squeak point, but even more so it's a safety aspect. As I said, seatbelt in every seating position, our easy drive ride and handling, flush floor. Folks, it's all about safety at this point. So coming back into the bedroom, you will notice that this bedroom, we do have a nice queen size bed, nightstands on both sides with wireless charging, as well as 120 volt outlets, nice shelving on both sides of the bed. And then, as I already showed you on the outside, we do have our massive pass-through down below this bed. You'll also notice the wardrobe area is ample. We have a bank of drawers, and then inside this cabinet here, we have a sliding wardrobe rack. And so your clothes are actually hanging this way. Your rack will come out so you can view your clothes at that point. This does have a power control system. What I love about the power control system is just simply that it's going to make sure that the power inside of this coach is managed well. This is a 30 amp coach, and as a result, traditionally in a 30 amp coach, you cannot have dual air conditioners. I've been at Entegra Coach for 9 years now, and ever since I've been here, we've been using this power control system. It makes sure that when both zones are calling for air, cold air, that first your front air conditioner will turn on, you'll get the initial power surge, it'll come back down, and then my rear air conditioner will turn on, get that power surge, come back down. I can use anything in this coach at that point, except for the microwave, or potentially except for your blow dryer, something that's going to use a lot of wattage. This is smart enough to know it's Friday night. Junior is watching that cartoon of the week or month or year. Remember I said that? And he wants popcorn, microwave popcorn. As soon as he hits start on that microwave, it'll shed the rear compressor of the air conditioner, and then it'll run its popcorn, it'll ding, and about 30 seconds later, this will cycle through and turn on your rear compressor. So what I love about this is that 30 amp campgrounds spaces are all over the place, and they're generally a little bit cheaper than what 50 amp is. So we're giving you all the benefits of a 50 amp coach in a 30 amp coach. And then down below you can see your progressive dynamics, 1000 watt inverter controller. And then also I can run my rear bed slide in if I would like to, and then also all my controls. Now this coach does have a 30,000 BTU propane furnace. This coach also has a 6-gallon gas electric rapid recovery hot water heater. So I can run it off of propane, or I can run it off of electricity. Propane is going to be the most efficient, or I can run it off of propane and electricity at the same time, and that hot water heater will recover itself approximately 3 times in an hour. So about 18 gallons of hot water in a single camping hour. So that is a lot of hot water if you are camping. Also, this coach has 12 volt tank pad heaters. So on the bottom of all of our pads, or all of our tanks, our fresh, our gray, our black, you will have a 12-volt tank pad heater. That way, if you are in northern Indiana and you're vacationing in Florida over spring break, you come back into Tennessee, maybe up into Kentucky, and a cold snap comes through, I can turn those 12-volt tank pad heaters on to help give my tanks a chance of not freezing up. But there again, those are more for an emergency case scenario versus true Four Seasons camping experience. So again, my name is Cory Weatherton, Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you have questions, contact your local dealer. If you don't know who your local dealer is, go to our website, entegracoach.com. We do have a dealer locator. Give them a call, ask them any question you'd like, see what floor plans they have on their lot. Get down there and put your hands and eyes on this coach. You're going to see that it is a quality built coach, and I think you're going to fall in love with it. If you don't fall in love with the 30Z floor plan, I won't be offended. It is my favorite, but we've got other great floor plans as well. Potentially you're going to stump the salesperson with maybe a more technical question. Always feel free to call us here at the factory, the 1-800 number. When somebody answers, let them know the state or province you're from, also what product you're interested in, and then they will direct you to our regional sales manager to answer those questions. Our regional sales managers have access to our engineers, to production, and even purchasing, that they can answer any question you have. They may not know it on the spot because they may have to call an engineer, but I promise you they will get back with you. Thanks for watching this video. Get out to your local dealership and check out this brand new 2026 Entegra Coach Odyssey.